Hey guys, what is up? It is Austin here bringing you guys another video, and today I have my review for episode 2 of Dragon Ball Daima, and let me just say, I've been enjoying this anime so much. I loved the first episode, put a review video out for you guys, and you guys came out and supported it, and it was awesome. It was so relieving to see the support on that. I think it's sitting at over 180 views, which for a Dragon Ball video on the channel, I just never thought that was going to happen, so I seriously really appreciate you guys coming out and supporting that video, so, hopefully you enjoy this episode of the review series, but let's just get straight into it. So, episode 2 of Dragon Ball Daima came out yesterday. Obviously, I'm recording this and hopefully posting this on Saturday, the day after. And let's just get straight into it. So, this episode was called Glorio, and it starts off pretty much with Dende getting kidnapped. You know, all of our new villains show up to the lookout. They kidnap Dende. Mr. Popo is not able to do anything because obviously they are all turned into kids. And the turning into kids thing has severely nerfed them a lot more than you'd think it would. Because if you think back to like GT, you know, when Goku was turned into a kid, you know, he could use all of his energy tactic. He could still fly. He could still shoot Kamehamehas. He could still go Super Saiyan, you know. And I think he's still going to be able to go Super Saiyan in this form as well in Daima. But, you know, at the start of it, they're having a lot of issues with their energy manipulation and their flight. You know, Goku and Vegeta immediately fall straight out of the sky once they're turned to kids, and then Goku as well tries to fly. Piccolo tries to fly, and it doesn't go well. And the cast is now realizing that they're all kids, and their powers are severely nerfed. So when this happens, Kibito Kai and the Supreme Kai are thankfully there, and they immediately go to the lookout. They take Goku, and then the rest of the game wants to go there as well to see what's going on. They find out that Dende's been kidnapped. They find out that Goma is the one who's like the mastermind behind all of this eventually. And, you know, it's a really interesting start because, you know, this seems to be a more kid-friendly anime, like you would think, right? You would think this is more tailored to a younger audience, kind of like Super was, but there's actually a scene where Piccolo gets injured, and he actually has a stream of blood down his chin, which for me is kind of interesting because if we remember in Super, one of the biggest issues in Dragon Ball Super, for me anyway, was there was a lot of a lack of intensity in the anime because there was no blood, you know? I know it sounds kind of cringy saying that an anime, you know, needs blood to be intense and be cool, but I think one of the coolest parts about Dragon Ball Z and some of the fights where you could see just how much pain the characters are going through and how much it really took for them to break past their limits. You know, the one that immediately jumps out to me is during the Majin Vegeta Majin Buu fight, where Buu hits Vegeta with a huge blast and Vegeta survives, but it's a great shot where you just see the blood trickling down his arm and Vegeta's fighting to stand up and get back into the fight and protect his loved ones, and just it makes the scene that much more intense in my opinion. And I think Super was lacking a lot of that in the anime. And Piccolo actually had a stream of blood down him at one point, so I'm wondering if they're actually going to have the other characters bleed as well, and if some of the fights are going to be a little more intense in Daima. I don't know if I'm looking too deep into it, but I think blood was severely lacking in Super, and I think it was sorely missed because just imagine the intensity of like the Goku Black and Goku and Vegeta fights if like there was blood added to that, or just their fights with Jiren, or with Golden Freezer, or fuck, even the fight against Beerus. Imagine if Super Saiyan God Goku was just totally beat up and he's still fighting at the end, and there's the, you know, I will not let you destroy my world. Like, I know I'm just rambling at this point, but as you guys can tell, I think blood's important to Dragon Ball, and I was nice to see it. It was a pleasant surprise to see it in this episode of Daima, although it was very brief. Now, after that, we see Goku seems to be the only one training and getting used to his form, which I think is interesting. I know all the other characters just pass Goku off as being annoying, but he's actually training in the background. He's getting used to his height difference and how he's going to be able to fight the other characters, while Vegeta, Piccolo, and all the other characters are more or less just getting the exposition. You know, they're talking to the Supreme Kai, they're talking to Kibito. Vegeta even inquires to Piccolo a couple times. Piccolo talks about what he knows about the Demon Realm. So you get some really cool exposition, and while that's all happening, you get this really cool side story of Goku trying to find his power pole. And, you know, he remembers where he left it in OG Dragon Ball, which is a really cool touch. And then he's got to go get it from Master Roshi, because Master Roshi's been using it as a clothes rack, which is just hilarious. And, you know, I think it just adds this classic element of comedy and a little side adventure. It really felt like OG Dragon Ball, and I really appreciated that. But then we got introduced to a brand new character, and I believe it's pronounced Glorio, But he as well is a demon, and he shows up to help our cast. Well, seemingly help our cast. He's there to recruit Goku most of all because he wants Goku to help defeat Goma. And I believe he said he was sent from the third demon world, the king of the third demon world, and he was sent in secret to recruit Goku so they could take down Goma. So, Supreme Kai makes sure to tell Goku at some point not to trust Glorio because Glorio was not shocked that they were kids when he showed up, which is an interesting point because when Glorio first showed up, I literally said out loud at one point, like, this dude looks fucking cool. He seems like he's going to be a cool dude. And then Supreme Kai had that line. So, it throws a little bit of doubt into his true intentions, which, I always love when they add new characters. And I think Glorio looks really cool, and I'm really interested to see where this goes. Now, because Glorio shows up in a spaceship, he's willing to take the crew to the Demon Realm because they cannot get there on their own. I can't remember what the parameters were, but they needed a ship, and they have to fix, Supreme Kai's ship because they have the old ship that he used to come back to this universe from years ago. And they actually have a really good plot that I actually really enjoy, that because Goku and Vegeta pretty much destroyed the sacred land of the Kais, it destroyed this ship that Supreme Kai used to get there all those years ago. So now they have to repair it, and it's going to take Bulma a couple of days. So because of that, the new character can only take 3 of them. I don't know why it's the new character, not just Glorio. But Glorio can only take 3 people altogether, including himself, on his trip to the Demon Realm. So he takes Goku and the Supreme Kai because the Supreme Kai has some knowledge of the Demon Realm and can help out. Now, there's an interesting scene where Vegeta steps forward, and he has a line where he says that he has to go because he wants to help out, and he doesn't want to be a kid forever. And I thought it was interesting because, it really made it seem like Vegeta was going to be there on day 1 and really help out. But they say, no, Vegeta, you're going to have to stay behind. They can't all cram into the ship. He's going to have to show up later. So Vegeta gets left behind. Now, I interpret this one of 2 ways. One, it's just a funny scene. Vegeta's not going to be able to show up. Goku's going to get the head start. Obviously, Goku's the main character. But I also could kind of see it in the sense that this gives Vegeta time to train and hone his skills. So maybe, this is just a little bit of a prediction here. I haven't read any leaks or rumors or anything. But maybe while Goku gets there with the Supreme Kai, they're going to get into a couple fights the next couple episodes. And maybe by episode 4... well, the rest of the gang's going to show up, but who knows? Maybe Goku's going to be in this big fight, and because of his lack of training, he only got to train for a little bit, he's not as skilled, and maybe Vegeta will actually get a moment to come in, and because him and the other characters, maybe even Piccolo, have been training so much in their bodies while they're waiting for Bulma to repair the ship, maybe they're just going to show up and save the day. Or maybe I'm just, throwing shit out there. Maybe they're just going to show up later, they'll all be on equal footing, and they're all just going to contribute to the plot. Who knows? But that's pretty much, the rundown. I don't want to talk about every single thing that happened in episode 2. I've already talked about a lot of spoilers, but I highly recommend watching the episode if you haven't yourself. In my personal opinion, I really like the episode. I think the animation is fantastic. The art style is a little, it's a mixed bag. Kara and I actually had a really good conversation about it. We both really love the art style of anime in like the 80s and 90s, like OG Dragon Ball Z, and for her, like Sailor Moon and just other animes that came out around that time. And I actually am not a huge fan of Super's art style. I think I said this in the last review, but I'm not a huge fan of it or its animation until the later arcs of the show. But I'm really digging Daima's art style and animation. It's easier for me to dig Daima's art style because I'm such a diehard fan of Dragon Ball. I'm already invested. I just need it to look good, passable even. And it looks good in my opinion. And I think the animation is crisp. The animation of Goku swinging around his power pole was just fucking beautiful. I mean, there's no other way for me to say it. I thought it looked great. So overall, I'm really enjoying the series so far. I'm really excited for episode 3 next week, of course. I think episode 3, I think it's called like The Adventure Begins. So that's when we're going to get some of the really big moments. I think we're going to start getting our first fights, our first encounters. We're going to explore the Demon Realm. I'm really excited for it. I'm really excited to see what comes next. But I'm curious what you guys think. What do you guys think of Dragon Ball Daima so far? Are you enjoying it? Are you disliking it? What do you think? I would love to hear your comments down in the comment section below. We actually talked about it a decent amount on my stream the other day, where, some people, I actually have had, good conversations with people that don't like Daima, and I understand why they don't. But me personally, I really fuck with it. But, that's pretty much all I got to say for this video. If you guys enjoyed, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're enjoying the series, let me know down in the comments section below. Let me know your thoughts on Dragon Ball Daima. And, yeah, that's all for this episode. Rest in peace, Akira Toriyama. I'll see you guys next time. This is Austin, and I'm out. Peace, guys.